In the sprawling expanse of the American heartland, where ribbons of asphalt wove through amber waves of grain, a phantom lurked behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler. A serial killer, elusive and unknown, haunted the highways, leaving a trail of fear and unanswered questions. This enigmatic predator had earned a chilling moniker among law enforcement and truckers alike, the Hot Jock. Detective Alex Harper found herself thrust into the unnerving investigation, her eyes fixed on the map of interstates and truck stops that crisscrossed the country. The Hot Jock, as the killer came to be known, had left a string of victims in his wake, each one a piece in a macabre puzzle that refused to reveal its solver. The crimes were as brutal as they were baffling. The Hot Jock seemed to pick his prey at random, leaving behind a morbid display of calculated violence. The victims, often young women with dreams of adventure, had fallen victim to the very allure of the open road that had drawn them into the orbit of the unknown killer. As Harper delved into the details of the case, she uncovered a pattern that transcended state lines. The Hot Jock struck at truck stops, gas stations, and rest areas, leaving behind a sinister signature that hinted at a meticulous mind. Each crime scene bore the unmistakable imprint of a predator who reveled in the anonymity of the highways. The trucking community, a tight-knit brotherhood that crisscrossed the nation's arteries, became a breeding ground for speculation and fear. The Hot Jock, his identity shrouded in mystery, had become an elusive phantom, a specter that haunted the very roads they traversed. Truckers exchanged stories in hushed tones, sharing rumors and whispers that painted a picture of a killer who moved seamlessly between the shadows. Late one night, Harper found herself at a dimly lit truck stop, the hum of idling engines creating a low symphony of nocturnal rhythms. She approached a seasoned trucker named Frank Carson, his weathered face reflecting the countless miles he had traveled. "You ever hear of the Hot Jock, Frank?" Harper asked, her eyes searching for any hint of recognition. Carson's eyes narrowed, and he nodded slowly. "Yeah, I've heard the stories. Ain't nobody knows who he is. Just pops up, does his thing, and disappears into the night." Harper leaned in, her voice barely above a whisper. "What do you think? Any theories among you truckers?" Carson glanced around, as if checking for prying eyes. "Some say he's one of us, a fellow trucker. Others think he's just a ghost on the road, someone who blends in and disappears before anyone catches a glimpse." As the investigation unfolded, Harper became increasingly obsessed with unmasking the Hot Jock. The killer seemed to taunt her, leaving cryptic messages and clues that led to dead ends. The detective's sleep became plagued by restless dreams of endless highways and the faceless silhouette of a trucker in the rearview mirror. The Hot Jock's notoriety grew, his crimes etching a chilling narrative into the annals of true crime. News outlets, true crime podcasts, and online forums buzzed with speculation, each new victim reigniting the public's morbid fascination with the unknown killer on the road. In a race against time, Harper sifted through mountains of evidence, desperate for the one clue that would unravel the mystery. The victims, whose lives had been cut short by an unseen hand, became more than statistics. They were the haunting echoes of a killer who remained one step ahead. One fateful night, as Harper reviewed the case files in her dimly lit office, a breakthrough emerged. A witness, a trucker who had narrowly escaped the clutches of the Hot Jock, provided a sketchy description. The killer, it seemed, was methodical but not infallible. Armed with this slender lead, Harper coordinated a task force to patrol the highways and monitor truck stops. The dragnet tightened, each truck inspection and surveillance operation fueled by the collective determination to unmask the Hot Jock and put an end to the reign of terror. The manhunt reached a fever pitch, the nation holding its breath as law enforcement closed in on the elusive killer. The Hot Jock, a phantom who had defied identification for so long, suddenly found the spotlight turning toward him. In a dramatic twist, the investigation led to a nondescript truck parked at the edge of a desolate rest area. The Hot Jock, a man whose face had never graced the news or police bulletins, was finally apprehended. The nation watched as the curtain lifted on a killer who had hidden in plain sight, his identity a shocking revelation that sent ripples through the trucking community. As the trial unfolded, the Hot Jock's true name, David Thornton, became synonymous with a reign of terror that had gripped the highways for far too long. The courtroom, filled with the families of victims seeking closure, bore witness to the unmasking of a predator who had hidden behind the wheel of his truck. Thornton, a seemingly ordinary man with a dark compulsion, was sentenced to life in prison. The hot Jock, once a spectral figure haunting the open roads, was now confined to the cold confines of a prison cell. Detective Harper, exhausted but victorious, stood outside the courthouse. The highway, once a symbol of freedom and escape, now stretched before her like an open book. The hot Jock, his reign of terror brought to an end, had become a cautionary tale etched into the asphalt. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the road, Harper knew that the highways would always bear the echoes of the phantom who had once haunted them. Yet, with the hot Jock unmasked and justice served, the open road beckoned once again, a symbol of resilience and triumph over the shadows that had cast their pall for far too long.